Hello again. Today I thought I would give you an idea of how to start an oil painting by what's classed as the wipeout method, whereby I'm going to paint all the dark areas in first over the whole canvas and then wipe out the light areas. I'm going to start off with dark colours. So I've got raw umber, blue mauve, cerulean, and a couple of oranges and burnt sienna, and a cad yellow. Okay, so I start off by mixing up some dark colour, a little bit of raw umber, throw a bit of mauve into one side, and possibly even a bit of burnt sienna into the other side. And these are going to represent the darks for the tree and the undergrowth in the painting. Okay, so I'll start by lots of painting medium, make it nice and wet. And what I'm going to do is leave all my brush marks showing. I don't really want to block them all out because they will represent movement in the painting as I'm finishing. Coming into the background area, which is around about here, I might throw a little bit of cerulean into that, cerulean blue, so that I can get a feel of recession in that part of the painting, up through the tree on the top, back into the raw umber, mauve, a little bit of burnt sienna again, and get some nice dark up there, knowing of course that what I'm going to do is pull out all the light parts with my piece of tissue. This is probably needs to be a little bit warmer than that, so I'll come into some cad yellow and some cad orange and throw a bit of that into there. Now if I make a mistake and I haven't got it quite right, I'm not really going to be too fussed because I can just readjust it once I've wiped out and I can get a feel for the sunset that's in the painting. So there's a bit of orange going in through there and just covering all the canvas, getting everything out the way and making sure my darks are dark enough to represent the scene that's there. A little bit darker through where this tree area is, so come back into some of these darks again and just restate some of those a little bit up through the sky and through here and down through the bottom. That's probably enough for the scene that's there. So I'll just put my brush down, grab a piece of paper towel and start wiping out where my information is in the painting. So I've got my horizon line sitting in about through here, group of trees coming round through here. That could have been a little bit darker, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Keep a nice fresh area of tissue on my brush, Keep a nice fresh bit of tissue on my finger. I often use a finger as a brush as well, and I probably will on this. Coming out through this little trunk in the little triangular shape of that trunk, I'll just pull that out, and I can pull out some of the sky at the same time. So if I come through here with the tissue and pull out that little branch over there, take that little piece out, and the little bit of burnt sienna and orange that was in the brush in the first block in is actually leaving a nice warm glow in the on the canvas. Come down through there, the shape of that tree trunk, and I'll make that just a little bit thinner through there, down through there again, and down into the background, and I can start pulling that sky out. That should be fairly warm underneath there because I use quite a bit of orange in the painting. So I can pull that out, keeping the fresh tissue so that I keep the colour reasonably fresh without dirtying it too much. Again, if I make too many mistakes, it doesn't really matter because I can just repaint it again later. Let's come over the top of these darks and restate them again. What you can see is happening is that I'm getting quite a feeling for the scene that's there. Lose a little bit of that. Using my fingers at the same time to get a feeling of lost edges. Okay, I'll come into the water and just pull out a little bit of light into the water. A bit lower down through here and across the other side, just a little bit of water showing there. And down through the base here, and a little bit of light just coming out through the background in the landscape. Okay, so now I'll come in with my brush again and just restate a few of these little dark areas. Scumbling over the top of that, a few little reeds coming into here. These trees needed to be a bit darker. Aerial perspective, use some cerulean into this at the same time. Okay, and so then I'll just come into the lighter colours and just start to get a feel of the light that's needed in the painting. A bit of clean tissue, it's getting a little bit on the grubby side. So I'll come into with a little bit of cad red and orange and just bring a bit of light back into here. A little bit of white with that as well to lighten it off. A little bit more colour. Up into the sky, a bit over this side of the tree as well. And a little bit more orange up into the sky up through here. Hopefully what I can do is just leave some of that base colour showing in the colour underneath that I blocked out in the first place. Okay, a little bit of colour into the water, and I'm going to add a little touch of green with that just to get a variety of different colour. That's a little bit bright. A bit more orange into that. As you can see, it's a fairly quick way of getting a feeling in the painting. Lose some edges in the background there, and a little bit more light coming into here. Okay, that gives me a feeling for what's there. I use a bit of that mauve as well that I used in the first block in, just to give me a little bit of cloud movement up through the sky. That's a little bit dirty, a bit more fresh colour into it. And just gently scumble that in to the painting. And then I'll come back into the painting with a little bit smaller brush, just to give myself an idea of some of these branches coming in through here. Here we go, nearly there. Here are these reeds just showing in the foreground. Brush is a little bit large. But that should give you just an idea of how a painting be started and go through in a very short time just to get a feeling of the scene that's there. Okay, thank you.